Welcome to the King's Court. I'm your host, King Roberto, and Season 2 starts tonight. That's right, Season 2. The court gets a little bit bigger. Season 1 was about finding my way, finding a little bit about you, the listeners, finding out a little about me, King Roberto. So Season 2 is going to be, rather than finding the way, continuing to build, to make a little bit more room in the court for a few more people. And you know, that's the fun thing about it. We've had some time off here between Season 1 and Season 2 to collect thoughts and reflect and see how it goes. And it's a new year, right? 2026 is here upon us, and it's a time of the year where everybody's excited about the new year. Everybody's about, their New Year's resolutions and doing this and doing that. And how quickly, though, we forget about those resolutions might have been. And it's one of those things that it's easy to walk away, to give up on that resolution and say that, you know what, it's just too much work. And that would have been easy for me to do with the podcast here. It was a lot of work in Season 1. It was a lot of figuring things out, how to go about doing it, trying to get a message across, figuring things out about, what I want the message to be. Why am I doing this? And rather than, Season 1 kind of established that a little bit. So if you haven't heard Season 1, I encourage you to go back and check it out. It's painful. There is some painful times in there, but it gets you up to speed with kind of who I am, what makes the king, and, sets the table for Season 2 here. And like I said, this is the season that the court and the table get a little bit bigger. Season 1, it was that finding the voice, finding the podcast, figuring things out again. And Season 2 is going to be a little bit more personal, a little bit more living inside the court. Not as reflective as the Season 1 was on all the stories and what have you, but it is a little bit different vibe, right? This season kind of showed up. I mean, I'm here, so there's reason enough to listen. It is real, and I'm a real person. Unless, I guess I could be a figment of your imagination. And honestly, if your imagination is imagining me as a figment of it, I guess for some people that might be kind of cool. And depending on who you are, it is. And other people, it might not be, because depending on who you are, it's kind of weird. So let's just make sure that the King Roberto imagination figments are in the right places with the right people at the right times. And then it won't be awkward and weird like that. But everybody's got a friend. They might be invisible. They might be named Fred or Maggie. I've never had a friend who was invisible named Fred or Maggie, but you wouldn't know that unless I told you that, because you might have just assumed that I did. But they are not at the table. Fred and Maggie are not at the table. And the table here in Season 2, it is going to get a little bit bigger. We're looking forward to it. We're going to invite some guests on. We'll invite them. Whether they show up or not is another story. And and then there's a little bit of a technological revolution going on in King Roberto's life lately. I mean, over the last few weeks, there's been a lot of technology upgrades around the castle here. And that's good and all, and everything's functioning much better. The kids are very happy when they play their video games, and they don't have to. I was told it was really cool because I didn't get kicked off the video game while I was playing with my friend who's playing on their video game in the same room. But I'm not sure how that works. But yeah, some technological updates. And in order to get some guests on the court, I would love to be able to do that remotely and have them call in or video chat in, although I'm not sure how that's going to work. There's some technological difficulties that we're going to have to figure out, but rest assured the king will figure it out because that's what kings do. So I think the biggest difference for season 2 and why I decided to go forward with this is because I wanted to kind of shift from building the court to a little bit more hosting the court. Who are all of these wonderful people that are in my life for different reasons, doing different things at different times, and what makes them special to me? Why are they special to me? Why do they exist, for lack of a better word, in my life? Why are they part of my life, and what makes it so awesome to have them there? So this season will be a little bit more about that. I did get a cool email from Sir Lewis, who requested to be on the court for one of the episodes. So Lewis, your day will come. I don't know exactly when it is yet. It has been busy around here, and trying to get time with Lewis is easier said than done. And I have a feeling that is a common theme when it comes to getting guests on the court. Everybody's got busy lives, and Lewis's particular circumstances that I have to get his mother or father to either drive him over to the court or figure out how to get him on the phone call with the king and have a fun conversation with him. He's 10. Pretty sure he's 10 this year. I know. Everybody's rolling their eyes, and I can see you rolling your eyes through the wavelengths that this is being carried to you from. So knock it off. All right, we'll figure it out. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that is going on, and I'm excited to share the stories with you and the adventures that were going on. We are heading out to Joshua Tree National Park next weekend, which is going to be an adventure. And if I can pull this off, I would love to get the Queen on the court to do the podcast with me from Joshua Tree. That would be pretty epic there. So if we could do that from the original King's Throne Room, which would be the fifth wheel, that would be pretty fun. There's a little bit different setting if you're watching on YouTube this season, and if you're not, you don't even notice, so it doesn't matter to you. But yeah, season 2, it just kind of naturally showed up and presented itself, and I said, yeah, King Roberto, there's a little bit more story to tell. So we're going to tell some stories, and it might be a blow by blow as it's encountered type of season, and you're going to be along for the ride if you choose to stay. So, the circle is the king's court, right? The circle is the circle. The circle has lots of meanings. The round table, the Knights of the Round Table, the circle of trust. Everybody's got their circle of trust. It's a ring. It's a never-ending symbol of eternity. And you're either inside that circle or you're outside that circle. And if you don't know where you're at in the circle, chances are you're not in it. But the expansion of the court isn't necessarily, I said I'm not necessarily building the court. In a way it is, but in a way it's not. I'm not looking to expand the court just to get more listeners, right? Nobody's that interested in what I'm saying. I get it. But there are people in the court that I like to talk to, that I like to interact with. And that is the expansion I'm talking about. We're talking about, shared experiences with people. Who are those people who have shared the stories? You heard about several of them in season 1. You heard about Jason. You heard about Jeff. You heard about different people as I was growing up who were individuals in my life when I was young. and kind of what made me into the guy in front of you today on this podcast. And it's all about who can you trust to come onto a show and bring a little bit of a different perspective of the king. Who is it that is going to be able to, be close enough to be on the show? Who has time to come on the show? Not necessarily not just who can you trust to be on the show and be a good guest, but who has time to come on the show. And I've watched a lot of podcasts in the last, few weeks that we've been off here, and I've got some ideas, and I think it'll be fun. And if it's not, then fine, we'll throw the ideas out. We'll do something different, because that's what kings do. We don't just stick by the original idea and that's the way we're going to go down. We're not going to go down in flames. We're going to, dodge and weave and come up with something that's a lot of fun and enjoyable for the audience to listen to. And why not now, right? Why not? I'm not getting any younger, and I know that. And nobody is out there. And there's a lot of that goes on in my life right now. There's a stark reality that I am the big 5-0, right? And there is no tomorrow. There could be no tomorrow. You don't know when your tomorrow is done being tomorrow. So why wait? I'm not a wait guy. I like to get stuff done. And when I have a plan, it is a blessing and a curse, because I have a lot of crap that's undone right now. I like to start projects, and I like to finish projects, but in the middle of one project, I'll get an idea for another project that might be a little bit higher priority. And I was just talking to it with my neighbor over here, Dana. We were out back the other day walking around because he was doing some work in the back of the property here, clearing some trees and what have you. And we were talking about, projects and how things shift, because I was doing some of the fencing, the pasture fencing around the house, and that shifted into needing to do a different project around the house. And then all of a sudden we got 2 horses, right? And now all of a sudden that pasture fencing that wasn't a priority is a priority now. And what wasn't a priority or what was the priority is no longer the priority. So it's always shifting, right? And that is my problem. There is no better time than now to get it done. And a lot of people don't see it that way, and it is a bane of my existence in some regard, because I really run into this at work with, if it can be done now, it needs to be done now. If it can be done now, we're not going to wait. We're going to get it done, because the weather outside, and I'm seeing it with a painter. And if you're a painter, God bless you. You do amazing work. I don't have the patience to be a painter, because I like to get stuff done. But the painters who are painters do great work for the most part. I've got a couple painters who is like, oh boy, probably needs to go back to kindergarten and paint a little bit more on that paint by numbers drawing or something. But when the weather is good, you got to paint outside because the weather's good. When you wait for it to rain, yeah, you know where I'm going. When it's raining outside, you can't paint outside. So all those days that were good that you could have painted outside and you didn't because you wanted to do it all at the same time, well, guess what? Now it's raining. You can't do it at all. So the moral of the story is get it done when you can get it done. Not when it's convenient. Get it done. And that's kind of why we're doing this. Why now? Why go to a season 2? Why keep doing this damn thing? Well, because I want to. Really, that's what it comes down to. I want to. There's more stories to tell. We're going to have more adventures out there. And the table here, it's plenty big. It's plenty big for people to come sit around it and enjoy it and have a conversation, have a discussion. There's a little bit of this podcasting thing that it's hard not to think that whoever's listening is judging you. It's hard to think that or hard not to think that whoever is watching on YouTube is not judging you. It's hard to get over that. And so on some level, you kind of feel like you're a performer and you got to put this performance on. And I don't necessarily, that's not necessarily the direction we're trying to go here. I want to be a host of a podcast that is enjoyable to listen to. It might offer a way to brighten up your day, make you smile. And if I can get a couple guests on here to share some stories with and to interact with, I think it'll be even better. So that's a little bit about the table and what's going to happen in season 2 here. And the other thing is that I kind of realized is that there are people that want to participate. And I'll give that back to Sir Lewis there, who had his mother, who may or may not be related to me, send an email in and say, hey, tell King Roberto I want to go on the podcast. And all it takes is one person, right? And then you've got this amazing show. And then you kind of shift from trying to prove that you can do it to inviting other people to come on it with you and do a show with you. And that's kind of where we're at with that. Season 2 is not going to be interviews. I'm not trying to give any advice to anybody. I'm not painting my own personal highlight reel, although I will say that would be a long, very long season if I had to do a personal highlight reel, because there's just so much to get through. Or I'm not telling you how to create your side hustle or do anything like that. What we're trying to do is come up with some conversations with people about what is going on. I mean, I've got the season 2 roadmap pretty much figured out. And it's, how can we share some of these real moments? How can we participate in life as it unfolds? Because, there's some cool stuff that's coming up, right? This will be my 12th year running the 4-H camp up here. And I'm still involved in 4-H on the board. And I got to tell you, it takes a lot of time and effort to maintain that involvement. And the reason that I stay involved is because of the same people who I would like to get to join me on the court are involved in that aspect of my life with me as well. They are amazing people. And I may or may not have recruited one or two of them to do that with me, but it's kind of my tribe, it's my table, it's my round table, it's my knights. They're the ones who I know that I could go to battle with and who would go to battle with me. And I have no problem sticking up for them. And I've done it, and I'm the worst when it comes to some of that stuff, because I'll make a mountain out of a molehill, faster than you can shake a stick. Yeah, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. If you were the recipient of that and it was bad and I didn't apologize later, or I messed up, sorry. Didn't really mean to offend you, but if I did, well, I am the king. So, and again, this is what really makes the court go round, is the people who are taking time to listen to this show. Without you guys, it just doesn't mean the same thing. It's fun to know that, you got over 100 downloads on a podcast. It's fun to know that somebody thinks that it's cool enough to even listen to 10 minutes of this show, much less an entire season. And that's why, the presence of the listeners matters. If you guys, I'm telling you, send me an email, get on the Instagram, send me a DM, reach out to me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. This is funny. I heard somewhere, I think I was listening to a radio program. It has been 20 years ago that the first tweet was sent on Twitter. 20 years ago. And you think of that. In 2006, where were you in 2006? What were you doing? Did you have a Twitter account in 2006 if you're old enough to have that? I did not. I was not a Twitter person back then. But I got to tell you, it's enjoyable now because you follow the right people and the algorithm does its thing and it gives you stuff in your feed that you actually want to listen to. And make no mistake about it. They tell you what you want to hear on those damn things. There's no middle of the road or listening to both sides of the story. No. You get one side and you get the side that algorithm knows is going to make you go, mm-hmm. I knew it. That's why they did that. Yep, they do that. And with any luck, this algorithm of this podcast is going to make you, the listener, sit back and say, mm-hmm, I knew it. I knew that. And that's why they did that. So stick around for season 2. It's gonna be a good time. And if you're still here, I mean, you didn't stumble into this, right? You're here because you wanted to be here. So, you know, as we close out this episode 1 of season 2 and kind of glossing over what we're going to do for this next season, and hopefully you enjoy it and stick around for it, and we'll leave you with, we'll give you a royal decree here. And it's one that I really kind of relate to, especially as I'm getting older, because you know what? You don't know what you don't know when you're 23, 25, 27, mid 20s. I mean, you think you know everything. You've got this thing figured out. Man, you don't know crap. I got to tell you, if I knew then what I knew now, man, don't tell me I wouldn't have made different decisions. Don't tell me I wouldn't have made different decisions. Knowing then what you know now, and that's just age and experience figuring stuff out. But, geez, don't realize how naive you are until you have the opportunity to live life and look back and say, man, I was naive. But if you're 20-something right now and you're listening, God bless you. You're on the right path. You just keep on listening. King Roberto will get you going all in the right direction and everything. But the kingdom, here you go. Here's your royal decree. The kingdom doesn't grow by adding walls. It grows by making room. And that is season 2 in a nutshell. And you think about that in your own life. A kingdom doesn't grow by adding walls. It grows by making room. Everybody wants to have their own little place in paradise, right? This is my piece of land. This is my backyard. I'm putting a fence around it. I'm going to do what I want to do in my backyard, and that's all I'm going to do. And that's a lonely way to live. That is a lonely life. And you think about that. The kingdom doesn't grow by adding walls. It grows by making room. And we all want to put that little fence around our house, right? It's my kingdom. It's my castle. It's my moat around my house. And I want the moat. And believe me, I got to tell you, there has been this time that I thought that a moat around the house would actually be pretty cool. My wife would call it a lazy river, but we are not going there. But anyways, yeah, you don't need a moat around the house. You don't need fences or walls to keep everybody out. I mean, that's a lonely way to live. You know, I'm the type of person who wants to invite people in. I mean, we have, parties and get-togethers with friends, family all the time. And it's not because, I'm trying to build the kingdom. I'm not trying to get them into the castle and close the gates and they can never leave. It's because they are the kingdom. They are the court. Those people are what makes the kingdom the kingdom. And being able to grow by making room for more people and getting the right people in is what is so fun about life. And it's one of those things. I mean, you think about it, and I'll get a little biblical for you. Man is not made to be alone. Man was not created to be alone. He was created to have a wife. And that's the story of Genesis, right? It all starts with Adam. Then you get Eve, and then their kingdom grows not by keeping everybody out or trying to keep everybody from coming into the kingdom, but their kingdom grows by making room for more people. And it just fits. It just fits. And I love that royal decree, so I hope you do too. And I'll give it to you one more time, last time. A kingdom doesn't grow by adding walls. It grows by making room. And I hope you take that to heart. I hope you make room in your life for your kingdom to grow. And I hope you stay in this kingdom too at the same time. I'm not going to lie. You made it to season 2, episode 1. You chose to turn it on and hit play and listen and stick with it, because the rest of the season is going to be just as fun and entertaining as tonight. And if you didn't think it was fun and entertaining tonight, like I said, send me a message, send me an email and say, yeah, you suck. But don't say you suck, because I'll probably just troll you back and all that stuff. But I'll be here. I'll be here for the next, 10 or 12 weeks, somewhere around there, of episodes, and you'll be able to be here with me, and I can't wait to share it with you. So this is King Roberto signing off from episode 1 of season 2 of the King's Court. Can't wait to get through the next 12 weeks with you, and hope to see you on the next one. See you later.